A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How cool is it that we're here back in person? Isn't it awesome? I think it deserves a bigger round of applause. Come on. I'm not sure about you, but I'm actually really quite excited to see people without boxes, with pens. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the Great Place to Work 2021 Singapore Best Workplaces Summit. My name is Martin Tan. I'm the CEO of the Majority Trust, a philanthropic organization in Singapore, and I'll be your host for this evening. If you're wondering why a charity guy will be hosting a dinner like this, well, when you're friends with Mr. Joni Ong, you get invited to all the fun stuff. So I hope you enjoy, I hope you have a great time. It is such a privilege for us to be able to be meeting physically in person. And I think this is only the second event I have been, and it's just a wonderful sight to see people. And I know you're really excited to say hi to your friends and so on. But I am just going to be a party pooper for a while. Is it okay? I have to tell you the regulations. Now, whether you follow, you have to follow them. So, we have almost 300 of us here tonight to share, learn, and celebrate with each other. But this privilege comes with a few caveats and safeguards to protect everyone. So, rule number 1, we must have fun. That's a pretty good rule. All right, number 2, mask must be worn at all times, even when you're eating. Except when you're eating and drinking. Mask should remain at all times, even during photo taking, please. Number 3, no intermingling across tables. Please remain at your seat. And as best as possible, do not swap seats, because the Secret Service know exactly. No, there's no Secret Service here. And last but not least, please do not cross zones. This is probably the most important one. We are all in 3 zones today, so please do not cross zones. But really, those are the rules. The best part of it, that doesn't mean we cannot have fun. On your tables, the moment when I talk about rules, everybody very quiet. It's like, wow. On your tables are clappers and pom-poms. You see them? All right, please grab one. Please turn them. Please use them. That's awesome. Now, every one of you are given a name tag as well. Please look at your tag. You will realize it is not your name. Some of you are like wondering, wow. So, across wherever you are, I am looking for everyone who are the great lover of wines. Where are you? There we go. All right. After tonight, if you're ordering alcohol, you know who to look for. We are looking for the great loudhailers. This is an in-person event after so many years, and you are the great loudhailers. I think you can do better than that. Where are the great loudhailers? Awesome. Where are the great food critics? Okay, these are the... Yeah, food critics normally a bit more quiet. All right, they're normally a bit more quiet. Pardon? Oh, okay. And great life of the party. Where are you? Okay. The next few are the serious ones. So one of the rules I'm told is that we technically cannot cheer, but we can clap. There we go. I think we will have a great time tonight. You guys are wonderful. Where are all the peacemakers? Okay. Now, every company, you need someone like this. You need the counselors. Where are the great counselors? They are normally behind the scenes. They're very quiet. We also have the great dreamers. Where are all the great dreamers? Can I hear you? Very good. The great motivators. Yeah, you really want to scream for this one, right? You really, really want to scream for this one. Great listeners. Okay, last but not least, great boss. I see many of you, whether you have the tag or not, you still clap. Our agenda tonight is planned around you. So let's be prepared to be ignited, illuminated, inspired, and celebrated, because tonight is about you, you, you. To ignite and kickstart this evening, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the Director of Great Place to Work, Mr. Roland Wee.
Thanks, Martin. Welcome, everybody. You know, this year's event is truly special for us at Great Place to Work. Now, to be honest, we had debated whether to have yet another virtual event. Given the many restrictions that Martin had just explained to you, it would seem like the easier way out for us to have another virtual event. But all of you are here today, not because you chose the easy way out. You chose to support your employees through the challenges of the last 2 years, at times at significant business expense. You went above and beyond to support your team, and because of that, you have been recognized by them as the best workplaces in Singapore. So today, we do not choose the easier way out. We choose to tell the virus that we will not be beaten, that we will return to our normal way of life. See, your safety is important to us, hence the safe distancing measures and the decision to have a smaller event than we otherwise would have wished. But that will not stop us from celebrating. We cannot shout. We cannot go around, shake each other's hands, give each other a hug, but we can use the clappers and we can use the pom-poms that you have to show that our spirits will not be beaten down. These ropes, they separate us physically, but they will not wall our spirits in. So tonight, let it be a celebration of all of you. Let it be a celebration of us coming together in spite of the difficulties and creating and strengthening the workplaces that we've built over many years. Now let us create a new normal, which is not just a means and a method of working, but one which is powered and defined by the cultures that you have built. Each one of you here today, you are going to define the new normal. And with the cultures you have built, you will create a new normal that is fantastic for your employees. Tonight, we celebrate all that you have done and all that you will continue to do in the years ahead. At this point, I would like to introduce Professor Rick Smith, as he on the screen. He will join us shortly on the screen. I'd like to introduce Professor Rick Smith from Johns Hopkins University. Rick is the Vice Dean of Corporate and Global Partnerships at the Carey Business School. Now, his list of academic achievements are so long that we'll be here the whole night if I were to rattle them off. Now, but one of the greatest, beyond all the accolades that we can give him, I'm most proud to call Rick a friend of Great Place to Work. We have collaborated with Rick over many years in many projects. One of the most recent projects that we collaborated with him on was a global study on employee well-being. We have not yet published the results of that study, and tonight you will get the first glimpse and the first preview of some of the findings of that study. Rick had wanted to be with us personally, and in fact, had made it all the way to Germany before being turned back again to the US. Now, those of you who have tried to travel will know that it's not such an easy task these days. So Rick sends his regrets, but he's joining us from Washington. So do help me welcome Rick by giving him a warm round of applause. Without cheering, let's give him a warm round of applause.
Great.
Over to you, Rick.
Thank you so much, Roland. And I do wish I could be there in person. I was a resident in Singapore for 10 over years, and I miss my chicken rice, I miss my laksa, and I was so looking forward to being with you here this evening. This will have to suffice. As Roland mentioned, we've been working on the topic of well-being. And what I'd like to do is to put that into the context of, well, the future of work. One of the hazards I found here at Johns Hopkins is Hopkins has somehow become synonymous with the coronavirus dashboard. And it's not unusual, unfortunately, for me to meet people and they say, oh yeah, you guys are the coronavirus guys. And that's not what we want. But my colleague, Beth Bauer, runs the dashboard, keeps track of where we are with the world. My job is a bit different. I look at human capital. What's going on in the world of human capital? How do we think about this? And right now, what is the effect of the pandemic on human capital? And it's in that vein that I'll share with you a bit of that and a focus on well-being. Well-being is a topic that I think around the world we've become better tuned to some of the things that are going on. So let's get started with an anchoring perhaps on the topic of human capital. Now, I know what you're thinking. Human capital, I know what that is. Those are all those people, and we're all one of them. And let me put this into a systems context first. We start with talent. And I don't mean by talent just the top talents. I mean all talents, all people that work in an organization. And obviously there we're focused on the right skills, the right capabilities. How do we attract, how do we retain, motivate, and manage our talent? But that's not all. Because guess what? We all know that we bring them in and we put them into structures, we put them into systems, all the processes, we give them job descriptions. Some people would argue that we find great talent and we box them into a corner called a job description with controls and reporting relationships and all the things that we do, well, to keep, organization around things. And then there's the culture, the organization culture, which is the ways of working, the common expectations that we have, kind of the unwritten rules of how things are done. And then there's leadership. Some would argue perhaps the evil leadership. In this case, we'll take a positive view of leadership and say, leadership provides the alignment and the direction, how we think about bringing all this together. And this creates what we call the human capital system, if you will. And this can be a great asset to the organization. And we know how this works, except this guy came along and seems to have disrupted our world in a lot of different ways. So let's take a look at each of the things that maybe this is impacting. We'll go through each of these four areas. And the first of which is structure. And one of the things that we all experienced as we suddenly needed to go to isolation, we needed to separate from each other is, well, where does work get done? How does work get done? When does it even get done? And so the work from home, mantra became pretty synonymous around the world. This is a quick graph of the rapid change going from really an average around 5% of employees being able to work from home to more than 60%. And in some parts of the world, that was even higher. Some occupations, some roles obviously still need to be done on site, regardless of what's going on. Now, as we look forward, that may change, but we see this rapid rise, a very swift shift, if you will, when it comes to structured and the COVID impact. Now, as we think about the longer term impact, what do we expect? What does the future hold? Will this remote working, this flexible schedule, hybrid, and what I mean by hybrid is, some days on site, some days off site. Well, looking across the employers and around the world, we see a number of things. One, for knowledge workers, we expect this to stay. This has been not just a one-time short, episode. This is a seismic shift, and in fact, some employers are only looking for remote workers. We'll talk a little bit about that great resignation. People are saying, well, wait a minute, I want a job that offers me more flexibility. Will we see this continue? The answer is yes. We're expecting this to continue. And even, in parts of Asia where this hasn't been as much of a trend as it has been in North America and Europe, we're also seeing more and more of this flexibility being baked into roles. So that may sound great for some folks. Others maybe, well, how do we figure that out? One thing I'd like to bring up is perhaps a bit of caution as we think about flexibility and equity. While there's great opportunity for this flexibility, studies have shown that, well, we can do this and we can do it well, but when we're working remotely, and we've got some employees working remotely, some employees working on site, how does that impact their careers? Through some pretty large scale studies, a number of researchers have looked at this over the years, and this is pre-pandemic, and found that those that are working remotely find a negative impact on their careers, their progression. So how do we think about that? And what's dangerous is if we look at the polls now and look at the gender differences, and here we see the response to, how often would you like to have work days at home? The 1 or 2 days, maybe more, men than women. People that were looking for a lot more flexibility, ability to work from home, tend to be more female. Well, that creates potentially a danger in terms of the inequity that we might see. And could this be an unintentional step backwards for gender equality? Something to watch as we go forward and figure out the new normal when it comes to structure. If we move to culture, there's been an impact on culture. The disruption, obviously, of our social cohesion, the way that we work with each other, those social interactions. It's not the formal meetings. We can do that on Zoom, just as we're doing now. But it's those casual interactions before and after the meetings. It's the walking the halls. It's running into people in the lifts. All those types of things have been a bit disruptive. And how does that work as we think about the culture of our organization? And so we see some of this, having an impact. And it's not an equal impact. One of the things that we note is that this really impacts those that are perhaps earlier in their career. If we look at this graph, those in their 20s and 30s, more likely to be feeling a bit lonely and isolated in their work. If we look at the need for learning, the learning that they're counting on in their occupation, probably more so than those of us at the other end of the graph here, are really impacted. And so how do we think about these types of things? And this is creating, depending on the industry, depending on the organization, a bit of an impact. What this gives rise to is the concern of employee well-being. And employee well-being has surfaced now as one of the major concerns around employment and employers around the world. Now, one of the things I just want to do is kind of set the record straight on what we mean by well-being. There's a lot of definitions out there, and I find that the term is being used, well, rather liberally, if you will. It's like, how was your lunch today? Oh, it's not so great. My well-being just took a dive, I don't think that's what we mean. So there's a few components, and well-being comes from medical orientation, and the World Health Organization has a very clear definition and very finite way of looking at well-being. From a psychology standpoint, we think about these 8 components of well-being around mental health. And so this revolves around a number of different things that become important. And there's a well-being continuum that I want to mention here as well. You may have heard, some people talking about, people are languishing in the world today, and that's used again a little bit liberally, but generally those are people that may be suffering a bit and not doing so well when we think about some of these measures. On the other end of the continuum are those that are flourishing, or thriving is sometimes used, and flourishing. And so we think about this, and this is a general population distribution. And if we think about, well, there's more than 50% of us that are just generally okay, and there's maybe 17% that are flourishing. And we'll come back to those measures later, but I just want to set the record straight of when we say well-being, what do we mean? And it's these types of things. Now, as we think about this employee well-being, we're trying to think about this more holistically, and employers are really starting to strive towards, how do I think about this, and what obligation do I have as a leader in the organization? And so in many cases, employers are becoming perhaps safety nets for employees. We see, that there's a lot more feeling of responsibility for employees, perhaps more so than pre-pandemic levels. But at the same time, employees are feeling the stress of the isolation. They're feeling the stress of what we're going through as a society, as organizations as well. Now, what we're seeing is, in the meantime, is that organizations are stepping up to this challenge. Organizations like Ernst & Young have launched total well-being orientation and training for their managers around the world to make sure that their leaders everywhere are equipped to help deal with this. Now, we really wanted to understand what is going on with well-being. And as Roland mentioned, we've launched a study to take a closer look at this. This year, we surveyed 14,000 people across 37 countries. We explored a number of key areas of well-being. And just like other research done in the past, we found that the percent of employees flourishing at this time wasn't so many. Are we all doing okay? Yes, we're doing okay. The numbers of us kind of flourishing in this process, not so high. And in fact, what I would suggest is that those areas more directly hit by the coronavirus, not doing quite as well as those that maybe have been spared. Also, and this pertains to Singapore, those that are in global hubs, those that are in densely populated areas, also more impacted from a well-being perspective, which is why I think this might be relevant as we move forward. Now, there's cultural impact, but there's also this leadership impact. And one of the things that the coronavirus has done is to perhaps add a bit of transparency around our manager capability. In other words, we've surfaced some manager weaknesses along the way. And so what I'll gently say here is we've got some management mavericks that are out there, which perhaps have decided, hey, this AI is great stuff. Now I can monitor my employees and all their activities. I can, understand exactly what they're doing all day. Isn't this great? Well, maybe that micromanagement isn't exactly what we need to be using some of the advanced tools for. And in fact, Gallup will tell us that engagement scores are down around the world, stress and fatigue are up, employees are feeling overworked and overburdened as a result. Now, a number of organizations have stepped up to this, which is great. And we're seeing much more of an inclusive approach, or humanitarian leaders, kind of letting down their guard, connecting with people individually, creating flexibility, and really making individual health, individual needs a part of the equation. And where we see examples like that, around the world, I think that, we're seeing a lot more positive response, and particularly in light of, we'll talk about the Great Resignation as we see around the world. I was talking with some of my colleagues in Germany, and there was an employer there who stepped up to say, you know what we've done is really make this part of the leadership responsibility to be taking an inclusive approach. We used to have it just for diversity needs and diversity focus, but now we recognize that it's much broader than that. And we're using this inclusive approach for management across the board. And all of our managers have been through training. All of our leaders are taking an inclusive approach and holding each other accountable in a peer-to-peer relationship and checkpoint along the way. And I think those types of things can go quite a distance to make an impact. Now, if we turn to talent, what I'd call kind of demand and supply shift. And one of the things we know is that as we've shifted in this pandemic world, we've relied a lot more on technology, just as we are doing now. And so those technology skills are so in demand. Organizations have shifted to their processes being online. They've shifted for, data security, cybersecurity is super hot. All these types of tech skills are obviously, and as predicted, in demand. Maybe what wasn't as predicted is how fast we would need to move. I've admired Singapore's skills future orientation, which I think does great things in making the steps towards shifting some of the skills and helping to build all the right skills that people may need for the future. So perhaps a bit ahead of the game on that. In other areas, firms are actually losing market opportunities. They're losing revenue because of the lack of skills that they have on their teams. On the other side of things, we're seeing the great resignation around the world, this pent up employee shifting from organization to organization. At the same time, the growth of gig work or contract work is growing exponentially in some markets. And it's expected in some places, and here in the US, that it will be the majority of types of employment in the future. And it's kind of scary for those that are running an organization to think that 1 in 6 employees would prefer to be doing gig type work. One of the great highlights I learned at a conference I spoke at a couple of weeks ago was from a hotel. And they said, we had to, lay off a lot of our cleaning staff. We just didn't have people staying at the hotel. And so we just didn't have, the need for them. But now that travel is resuming, we wanted to bring them back. And we called the cleaning staff and they said, "Oh, sorry, we're busy." And we said, "What?" And they, "Sorry, but we'd be happy to work with you. But you see, we've created our own firm and we will now clean for you like we will with all the hotels, but we're going to do that on a contract basis. And we've got a per room rate that you might be interested in." It's like, wait a minute, you are my employees. Well, no, you let us go and we've created our own firm as a result. And we're seeing similar models with auto mechanics. We're seeing similar models in other services that, well, wait a minute, this is changing the game. And suddenly these types of models are beginning emerging with this orientation around things for gig work that we didn't really think about for gig work. So this new talent value proposition raises, a question, right? What are employees seeking? Well, can we stop them from going to this gig? Well, maybe not. Maybe we can, create something that's pretty powerful as we think about flexible work arrangements, perhaps, helping them to develop the skills they want for their future, thinking about those meaningful contributions. In other words, what's the purpose of what we're doing? How can we align that to what we're trying to accomplish as a firm that's also aligned to what people are interested in? And sometimes that has to do more with the impact on community, the impact in society, than it does the bottom line. And personal growth, how do we really create something special for our employees that really resonates? And so really thinking about this employee value proposition, how do we step back and really understand what's important for people today? I was working with a major bank in New York City who was really reevaluating this. There's like, we're losing people to the tech firms that offer this flexibility. What do we need to do? And they redeveloped an employee value proposition. And while the CEO was adamant, people need to be back on the office, we need to get, everybody back, they called a timeout and said, wait a minute, let's reevaluate where people are, and then let's rethink what's the right way that we want to really focus on the important things. Is it really that important that everyone come to the office every day? Or should we create more meaningful connections when we come together? And is there actually a lot of work that can be a lot more productive when we're working from home? And so really rethinking that from a flexible work arrangement, but more so than that, which is to really re-anchor around the culture and the value of being a part of this organization versus something else that you could do on your own. And that's a different orientation for leaders today. So this talent is the other area that we want to make sure we address. And so each of the 4 areas of this human capital system have been affected by this COVID situation that we find ourselves in. And so as some in the human capital business would argue, is like, our human capital system has got COVID, and how do we get through this? I don't think it's quite that drastic, but I do think that through the pandemic, the way that we work, the future of work has been affected. If we're just thinking about one piece of this, I think we're missing the boat. And what I would encourage everyone to do is to think more holistically around the overall impact of our human capital model and the human capital system that we're operating in. Now, what does this mean? I think there's a few priorities for us as we think about the future. One is, employee well-being, taking a holistic approach to that, developing flexible or hybrid work models to think about what's the right function. How do we think about this for the type of role? The leadership, how do we address that? And rethinking the employee value proposition. But let me bring that into a Singapore context and suggest that there's really 2 things that we need to focus on in Singapore. And let me explain why that is. Inclusive leadership. Across Asia, we need to be mindful of what's going on in the Asian context. And I must say that, after 15 years of living across Asia and working in many of the countries, we do have, I must say, a number of micromanagement experts out there and some maverick management experts out there across Asia. And if we look at the results of Singapore, this is Singapore versus global, around some of the questions that are indicative of inclusive or belonging, we're maybe not up to the same standards. And so in Singapore, I think we have to be extra vigilant around the management style. And I know at the top of the organization, we're generally pretty okay. But in all of the layers, how do we bring all of our managers up to the right standard in leadership? Now, the good news is that I think, we've got some examples right here in Singapore to draw from. Looking at the data from the best places to work in Singapore, there's many that are leading the charge with taking an inclusive approach, creating a sense of belonging, getting the psychological safety right, and migrating, to the right type of leadership style. And I think that is the good news and something we can learn from them. Now, the other point for Singapore is well-being. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Singapore, like many locations that are a global hub and densely populated, have been more severely impacted because the restrictions, by definition, need to be, stronger. And so that creates an impact. And so I think that raises the bar for Singapore. I'm sorry, but there's more work to be done. And so if we look at the well-being in Singapore relative to the global standard, we see we're not up to where the rest of the world is. And mind you, the rest of the world is not in a great place. They're doing okay, but where we are, we've got some room to grow. And so I think this is something that I think we're all focused on around the world. And in Singapore, I'm sorry to say that the bar is probably a bit higher, just given Singapore. So the good news is that if we look at the Singapore average relative to the best workplaces in Singapore, we've got some great examples to draw from. And this graph shows that, it's a significant gap, obviously, between the average Singapore employer and the great places to work in Singapore. And so how do we leverage those experiences along the way? And I've got 6 things here that I'll leave you with, which is, think about well-being, measure it. Think about, sending signals to the organization that this is important. Connecting with employees to experts, because sometimes we can't deal with this as managers and it's not appropriate, perhaps. Getting local champions, getting an environment together around ongoing learning and how we continue to change and improve, and empowering people to make a difference. So that's a quick run through of a lot of different things. Those are the things I'd leave you with an impact on Singapore, things to think about as we look forward. And hopefully what we're going to be doing is looking forward to a post-pandemic time. We won't talk about the new variant today. We'll talk about, let's get through this pandemic and how do we do this in a way that makes sense so that we can all become great places to work. It's been a pleasure to be with you. So thank you so much. And please feel free to connect with me just as we would if we could, post and pre-meetings. I look forward to hearing from you, and all the best with the rest of the event tonight.
Thank you so much for the insights, Rick. Really appreciate it. Well-being is such an important thing, and I'm glad that you're not talking about Omicron as well. It sounds like, oh my God, but anyway. It's close to 6 a.m. where Rick is. So, Rick, just on behalf of all of us, thank you very much. How about a big round of applause for Rick one more time? If you have any questions for Rick, there is a QR code right in the middle of the table. You should be able to see it at your table. Scan the QR code and you can send the query over. The Great Place to Work team will compile all the questions and get answers for you, and then they will reply you accordingly, okay? So I think that's really cool. When you came in on your chairs, you have your goodie bags. The one cost savings in the past with all the Zoom events is we don't get goodie bags. Now in person, we get our goodie bags back. So in your goodie bags, please feel free to open. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Cisco for sponsoring Rick's session. Cisco, thank you very much for that. Oh, I do want to remind everyone that we can't cheer. Clap as loud as you can. Use your clappers, use your pom-pom, but we can't cheer. That's awesome. Thank you. So we want to thank Cisco for sponsoring Rick's session. We want to thank DHL for sponsoring the panel session later on. Thank you, DHL. In your bags, we want to thank HP for the humidifier that's in there, Micron for the water tumbler, and Foodpanda for the wireless earphones. The earphones are so wireless that you don't see them in there yet. That's because it's stuck in customs. As you all know, there's a supply chain management, but actually what happens is that with the wireless microphones, there are batteries that's deemed sensitive, so they're clearing that now. The moment it's cleared, you will get them wirelessly, okay? We want to thank TDCX for the UV sterilizer. That's very useful. And WWT for the laptop stands. Such amazing gifts. Thank you very much. A big round of applause for all our sponsors. In there, you'll see a card of the Majority Trust as well. I'll come to that later, okay? The one most important. No, I'll come to that in a bit. We have come to the most important part of tonight. Your dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your dinner. As dinner is served, just a gentle reminder, please remain at your tables. Especially now we are partaking of food. Your mask will be down, so if I can encourage all of us to remain at your tables, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying your appetizer and your conversations around the table. It's really good to be able to be at a table with people and just chatting. As the main course is being served, on November the 12th, Great Place to Work unveiled the winners of the inaugural Singapore Best Workplaces in Technology list. 5 organizations each were named in the small and the medium to large categories. These 10 winners will have a special mention again later during the award ceremony. But what is really interesting is that 1 month ago, some Great Place to Work certified tech companies literally took over the Great Place to Work Instagram account. This is pretty cool. They are like bandits. They seized the opportunity to showcase their unique workplace culture and why their company is winning in the marketplace. So, we thought we'll bring the video to you. Have a look.
Blue Prism is a great place to work, not only because we are the pioneer and the leader in this automation industry, but we have constantly been evolving to cater to the needs of our customers and partners so that they can transform their businesses through the power of automation.
Hi, my name is Mani. I'm a talent acquisition consultant. I recruit people. I hire talent at EPAM. And I started my journey with EPAM systems in India 2017. So now here in Singapore. So we have very good relocation policy internally. So that's where I am from last 5.5 years with an EPAM.
Having worked for Experian for over 3 decades across 3 continents, there's a very special blend of brilliant people, incredible resources and an inclusive culture. I'm especially proud by our CSI work with real people in local communities such as McClellan College in Frankston. That's why I say it's a great place to work.
I'm Aro from Insight Singapore, and I still want to say that why Insight is a great place to work. First thing, the management is so cool and very friendly. They always encourage people. Second is the colleagues, and the people which I worked with last 5 years are so friendly, always do want to help. Yeah, whether it's the technical team or sales team or the management, they always help.
Favorite snack at Liftoff that I had was when we got Blackstone deal, that when we ate the cookies.
Liftoff is a mobile marketing platform where we connect people with mobile products such as apps that they love to use.
We're looking for a company that puts people first, has an incredible culture.
Food here is really good.
The food,
Spanish food, Thai food, Chinese.
Morning everyone, I'm Lydia and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Nobifor Singapore's office. Today I am taking over the Great Place to Work Singapore Instagram.
Been with Adobe for 7 years now and it's been an awesome ride. Get to work with the best colleagues, the best customers, the best tech, and be creative along the way.
We at CrowdStrike are fanatically unified by this unwavering promise to our customers that we will detect and prevent breaches each and every time.
It is now my pleasure to invite the Managing Director of A Great Place to Work, the reason why a charity guy like me is hosting this event, Mrs. Joni Ong, to share with us a few words. Joni.
Now I can breathe. Mr. Heng Swee Keat, Deputy Prime Minister and Coordinating Minister for Economic Policies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for joining us at our 2021 Singapore Best Workplaces Summit. What an awesome sight to behold from up here. I see 300 smiling faces around me, and this is a sight that all of us fought so hard to make possible amidst uncertainty and constant change. For this, I'm grateful to my colleagues for their nimble agility and positive can-do spirit. Thank you, Great Place to Work colleagues. And thank you to all the Great Place to Work certified companies represented here. Your presence is indeed a testament to the amazing spirit you advocate daily to celebrate every win and to build camaraderie with every opportunity. That's all of you here tonight. Thank you so much for that. You know, my heart is always full when I speak about our Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Heng Swee Keat. Sir, you have my utmost respect as a political leader. But more than that, you are an authentic and caring person, generous with your time for others and the causes they fight for. So thank you for supporting our passionate dream to help companies build high-trust cultures so that Singaporeans can thrive in great workplaces for all. Thank you for the generosity of your time. And, you know, believe me, everyone, tonight, the person who's going to be working the hardest is going to be DPM himself. You will see that. And we thank him for that. Now, with Singapore's ambition to be recognized as a regional technology hub and the influx of tech firms and our global rankings, it was timely to establish a Singapore Best Workplaces list in technology. Unveiled last month, the winners were determined from analysis of feedback from 12,000 employees in the areas of their daily experiences of trust, development, innovation, company values, and leadership effectiveness. The winners in this inaugural tech list will be recognized again later. Now, despite 2021 being a year of business uncertainty and constant flux, Best Workplaces in Singapore continued to build a culture of trust, and they demonstrated exemplary leadership with a purpose-driven, people-first mindset. Importantly, we see the trend of more companies recognizing the value of building positive workplaces for their employees. So the increase in winning companies on this year's Best Workplaces list reflects this rise in the number of certified companies and quality submissions. And over the last 2 years, there has been a greater emphasis on employee well-being. Great Place to Work has launched a global index on the state of well-being in workplaces. And we will be sharing our findings on the state of well-being among employees in Singapore through a series of blogs over the next few weeks and starting this month. And this evening, we are gathered here as a like-minded community to celebrate each other's success and to learn from one another. Congratulations to all of you. Regardless of your ranking, I say this every year, regardless of your ranking, you are all winners and number one in your employees' eyes. It is now my honor to call upon DPM, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, to share a few words with us. DPM, please.
Mrs. Joni Ong, Managing Director, Great Place to Work Institute, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let me thank Joni for your very kind introduction. And you said that I have to work for my dinner. When I walked in, I thought I was coming for a party. There was such a great spirit, and I see great food coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to join you for this 2021 Singapore Best Workplaces Summit. If you think about it, most of us spend a significant proportion of our lives at work. Engaging in meaningful work with supportive leaders and colleagues whom we share a common mission and sense of belonging gives us joy, purpose, and fulfillment. So I'm always happy to support this initiative by Great Place to Work Singapore to recognize great workplaces and promote good workplace cultures and practices. So let me start by congratulating all the award winners. You are role models for other companies in Singapore to aspire toward as they progress in their journey to become great places to work. I'm also happy to see that for the first time this year, there is a new category for best workplaces in technology. As Joni mentioned in her speech earlier, this is timely given that tech is an exciting and growing sector, with around 80 of the world's top 100 technology firms having a sizable presence in Singapore. So congratulations to all the winners. COVID-19 has accelerated structural trends that will fundamentally change work and workplace. But more importantly, it has catalyzed change at a pace and scale beyond our imagination. When countries imposed lockdowns, the world went into a giant experiment in working from home. Remote work and virtual meetings, enabled by pervasive digitalization, are now part of our daily lives. With the fourth industrial revolution, technologies such as AI and robotics will completely reshape the nature of work in the years ahead. Beyond COVID-19, many societies will also have to contend with structural shifts, such as aging demographics. At the same time, employees' mindsets are also shifting. We are now coming to almost 2 years in this pandemic. While hybrid work has been welcomed by some, there are others who have struggled to balance work, leisure, and family. Working from home often meant a blurring of lines between the personal and professional. Those with young children often told me what a challenge it has been to work from home while helping their children with home-based learning. They say it's much more stressful than working in the office. The pandemic has also meant that many workers have had to go beyond their typical scope of work, stretching themselves to the limit. If we are not careful, burnout is a real possibility for many workers. In some countries, we are seeing the phenomenon of the Great Resignation, so we must avoid that. The learning point is that increasingly, employees will put a greater value in a workplace that offers good work-life practices, one that not only focuses on immediate work priorities and output, but also cares for the well-being and develops its employees fully so that they can make an impact and stay for the long term. In this pandemic, we must take this opportunity to transform workplaces to respond to these trends. The fortunes of companies and workers are ultimately intertwined. Companies that are best able to transform to help their workers grow at work and beyond work will themselves do well too. In Singapore, we're starting from a good position. We have worked hard over the years, even prior to COVID-19, to foster progressive and fair workplaces that can bring out the best in each of us. For example, the Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices, or TAFEP, has done well in working with employers to build workplaces where employees are not only respected, but can achieve their full potential. Our tripartite partners, governments, employers, labor movement, have also worked well together to upskill and reskill our workers, especially our mature workers. For example, NTUC's Company Training Committee is driving both business and workforce transformation across many companies. But it goes beyond reskilling and upskilling. Increasingly, employers will also need to think harder about how to enhance the overall wellness of their employees. It is not just about dollars and cents, but also providing them with greater purpose at work and pride in what they do, fostering a culture of fairness and respect, supporting their aspirations, and helping them balance their various priorities. In fact, many of this year's winners have exemplified this approach of taking care of their employees' overall wellness, especially given the additional stresses caused by the pandemic. For example, Cisco Systems trains all its leaders on managing mental health during COVID-19, which covers the fundamentals of supporting employees on their mental and emotional health challenges. Rise Communications has also made available professional therapy and counseling as part of the enhancement of its mental health benefits this year. Foodpanda has also given employees access to Wellbeing app, which provides resources on physical, mental, and career well-being. Employees can also approach coaches for one-on-one sessions to deep dive into areas that they need support on. The government is also taking the issue of mental wellness very seriously. We have established an interagency task force set up to oversee national efforts to promote mental health and well-being beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Manpower has also launched iWork Health, an online platform to help companies identify key workplace stresses, the extent of workplace stress, and the overall state of mental well-being of their employees. Participating employees also receive individual reports on their mental well-being scores and workplace stressors. But the government's efforts alone are not enough. I'm glad that the tripartite partners came together to issue a tripartite advisory on mental well-being in workplaces, which includes practical guidance and resources that employers can use to care for their employees' mental wellness. I'm also encouraged that in the depths of the pandemic, the tripartite partners came together to form an alliance for action on work-life harmony, pulling together employers, employees, HR practitioners, and other stakeholders. The alliance has developed useful tools such as templates on how companies can establish an after-hours work communication policy and set clearer expectations and boundaries on work-related communication after working hours. The good news is that if employers put in the effort, they can make a huge difference. Based on research done by Great Place to Work and Johns Hopkins University, they have found that the employees in the 2021 Singapore Best Workplaces have a much more positive work experience. 89% look forward to going to work as compared to 43% in other companies. 90% would endorse their companies to friends and family as a great place to work, in contrast to 43% for those who do not work in best workplaces. So I want to commend Joni, Evelyn, and the team at Great Place to Work Singapore for your excellent work in fostering a better workplace culture in Singapore. I should add that you have always made it so compelling for me to look forward to joining you for this event and coming to this event, that this is my 3rd year joining you. My reward is a nice dinner afterwards and to be in a company of great people. There is much more that we can learn from global practices, and I'm glad that the Great Place to Work continues to share your research and best practices across countries. I hope the examples of the exemplary companies amongst this year's award winners will inspire others to strive to create the best possible workplaces for all their employees. Once again, let me congratulate all the award winners. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, DPM. May I invite you to remain on stage. Sir, you'll be more than just a nice dinner as a reward. It will be with the gratitude of all of us here for your presence today. A big round of applause for our guest of honor. Thank you very much, sir. We'd like to now invite on stage our panelists together with Joni and DPM for our panel discussion. In cognizance of its importance and relevance in today's new normal, let's talk about the state of well-being in the Singapore workplaces. To join DPM and Joni in this discussion, we are delighted to have from HP, Ms. Vivian Chua, Head of Singapore and Malaysia and Managing Director, Singapore. Big round of applause, please. From Micron Technology, Ms. Che Wee Sim, Vice President, Global Talent Acquisition and Talent Mobility. And from Foodpanda, Mr. Ingo Laubender, Head of People. Joni, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. We'll wait for Ingo to be seated. Ingo, you can take out your mask. Yes, but a very nice mask. I would like that too, actually. All right. Thank you all for making time to be with us here, panelists and DPM, of course. Now, in collaboration with the Johns Hopkins University, as you heard just now, Great Place to Work actually conducted this research study on employee well-being. So the question really is, are employees actually flourishing? And Rick earlier on mentioned what it meant to be really flourishing is a very high level of well-being. Most of the time, 50% of us are okay mental well-being. The rest are languishing, only about 12%. So the well-being in these, actually we look at 5 areas, and they include mental and emotional support, sense of purpose, personal support, financial health, as well as meaningful connections. So we're going to start with DPM, all right? So DPM, as you said earlier in your speech, if employers put in the effort, they can make a huge difference in the well-being of their employees. So what is your hope for companies and employers out there in terms of how they can help their employees thrive and succeed?
Well, thanks, Joni. It's a very important question, and I would say that first, to succeed, it's important. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Okay. It's important that we equip our staff with all the skills and competencies that they need to do on the job, and also the relationship that they can build at the workplaces. But to thrive, I think a sense of meaning and purpose is very important. So last year, and towards the beginning of this year, when as finance minister, I was doing nothing but budget after budget. I only know 3 places: my office, my home, where I sleep, and my constituency, where I serve the residents. I didn't know about anything else, because we're all just working day and night, and Parliament, of course, just rolling out the budget. So at one of the sessions, I asked one of my key staff, I say, my goodness, this is very, very stressful for all of you, having to do so many budget after budget and making sure that every comma and full stop is correct, every decimal place is correct in the amount that we are spending. So I hope that everyone is fine. And she said, DPM, don't worry. We are thriving because we find this work so meaningful. Because just imagine the number of people that we are helping, keeping workers employed, keeping companies afloat, keeping Ministry of Health well-staffed with the resources to deal with the pandemic. And really, all of us feel that we are so fortunate, A, to have a job, B, to have a job that is so meaningful, and particularly at this time where we can do so much for people. And the meaning of being in the public service, being in the Ministry of Finance, has never come across more strongly. So they say, don't worry, you're all okay. So I was really very cheered by that, and it is that sense of meaning and purpose in what they do that is so important. And I'll just share one other thing. I had a stroke 5 years ago, and at the end of it, I held a thank you event for all the healthcare staff who have who have been looking after me. I was so surprised to see so many people turn up, and I said, I don't remember so many people looking after me, but of course I was totally unconscious. And I was in ICU. It was an ICU means that a nurse has to be next to you all the time. That's why the intensive care is so intense and so such a drain on everyone. So after the thank you event, I said, I'm really so grateful that that all these nurses and healthcare professionals and doctors have been so caring that they just spend all the time looking after me. So during this pandemic, I'm particularly concerned about our healthcare workers, and really every one of us can do our part. We are really at the front line. If we take care of ourselves, do our best to prevent ourselves from getting infected. We may still get infected, you never know, but at least we do our very best, because that's the best way to help our healthcare workers to keep the rest of the people who are infected, especially those who are older, from succumbing to the pandemic. So that sense of purpose is really important. Yeah.
Am I to use the mic? So thank you very much for that, DPM. So I'm going to throw it to the panelists now. You can add on to what DPM has said. Obviously, the sense of purpose, meaning in their work is so important. So maybe Chubby, maybe I start with you. How does your company, how does Micron create this climate of well-being and care for their employees?
Right. Yeah, that's a really great question. I think as we look at the challenges of the company, to be honest, what kept me out at night is literally the talent retention and also the urgency and the readiness of talent, for the business group. And if you look at these challenges, it does require a company to be a great place to work, because to live out, and there's a shift in the expectation of workplace, workforce, and the leadership that we heard from Richard Smith, Dr. Richard Smith earlier in the video. And really earlier on, the DPM Heng also mentioned about the work and life is blurring out, right? So literally work and life are integrating together. And what we are seeing is that literally all of us are bringing our whole self, doing our best work. Yeah. And at Microns, we listen through our engagement survey and also the Great Place to Work survey. Questions such as, does Micron support my well-being? Does my leaders care for me as a person? And when we look at those data, we quickly recognize that the normal view of health and wellness is really not enough. We have to take a holistic approach to the whole person, which definitely include the physical, the mental, the social, the career, and the financial, right? And I sit here very proud to share that Microns have taken tremendous pride in the multifaceted approach in really looking after the whole self. At the corporate level, at the company level, our CEO, Sanjay, actually took a 90 days no layoff pledge at the very beginning of the uncertainty. Wow. Similarly, we have team members that work at home and at site. They are all working so diligently. And we make a quick decisions that we will not have rating for our performance conversation last year, so that we were able to apply, the same incentive payout modifier for all the team members. Definitely at a country level, Singapore, we were probably among the first few manufacturing company to literally look at business continuity. And we have programs such as providing free meal for team members on site, and also among the first few companies to actually have the on-site test facility. And I think earlier on, DPN Heng also mentioned about really building the expertise. And yes, it's so important to institutionalize it. We actually invest in team members advocate and well-being specialist role. Right. Yeah, and all in all, I think what we also learn as a company is we need to triple our celebration. All right, and we are pretty good as a company to really create fun and interactiveness through our virtual event. We celebrate our team members' long service award, having our CEO and executive join us virtually in the US. And after, with all this celebration, guess what? We discover our jewel, Micron's Got Talent. And in fact, one of the songs that was written for our diversity and inclusion event, the title of the song is Truth Color, and I quote, "I see your truth color, don't afraid to show it." And I think that is how we build that inclusive leadership. And in fact, just this week, 2 days ago, we celebrate the extended network, our migrants worker with the team, We Stand By You. So I think we literally learn, it's a journey for us that we need to take a holistic approach, be it for our team members, for our community, in terms of their strengthening our culture of belonging, well-being and growth. And I'm so, great place to work, focusing on this topic at this time is so well positioned.
Thank you so much, Cherie. Thank you.
We should get your team to perform here, your talent to perform here.
I think they're here.
I think
the staff
I
are
wanted
here.
to sing for all of you, but all my colleagues out there said, Cherie, don't do it. Don't do it. So, Mr. Heng, I want to perform. They are the ones who tell me don't
Later
do it.
on, we'll give you a chance to perform after this.
If they perform well, Food Panda will deliver whatever you want.
We can do that. We can do that.
Thank you so much for that. And, Vivian, would you like to add to that? What is HP doing to look after your employees' total, holistic well-being?
So HP has been in Singapore for a good 51 years now. So we have followed, in fact, we are one of the pioneer MNCs that has come to Singapore to set up our manufacturing facility. And we have journeyed along with Singapore a long time, right? And people has always been the core of our strategy, because we believe that when our people thrive, the business will grow. And we want to make sure that we create an environment that people can thrive, right? And in terms of well-being, there's a whole slew, in fact, a whole umbrella of programs that we actually roll out to the employees, including training our managers to be well-being ambassador, so that they can focus on the authenticity of the individual and showing empathy during the teamwork. Right? Separately, what we also do is that, given the hybrid work model, DPM Heng that you mentioned, people working from home, we also provide financial support to let our employees set up their own workspace at home to ensure that they have a proper workspace while not sharing with their children and husband who are also working at home at the same time. And separately, in fact, what is very thriving here in HP Singapore is that we have a whole network of what we call business impact network, where communities or people are, those that are underrepresented are represented within this business impact network. So for example, we have Women in Network, we have Young Employees Network, we have even an NS Men Network to show, to help them amplify their concerns when they are being underrepresented. For example, when an NS men want to go for reservists, right? Who will do their work? Is their managers helping to share their workload so that when they come back, they feel that they still have the job security to come back to the workplace. And I think these are interesting programs that help build a sense of belonging, a sense of connectivity from the employee to the workplace, and that builds loyalty as well. And I really want to make sure that all our employees are able to voice their concern, their requests in any form or way through the network, through the conversation. Now, personally, for me, People has always been the core of my management philosophy, and it's important for me that the people needs to stay competitive. And how do we as company, as management, create a platform for them to learn, for them to remain competitive, because today any job can be done anywhere. So we want to make sure that our employees continue to upskill to make sure that they remain competitive in the future days to come. And that's all we are doing here.
Thank you, Vivian. Indeed, the ability to just knowing that you are being developed by the company, it really pushes you and to reach your own personal goals. So that's what the people need. Even the whole sense, of well-being really also centers on that too, right? So, Ingo, over to you. Share with us what Foodpanda does.
Yeah, I would love to share about how Foodpanda has rediscovered its purpose, especially during the last 2 years of the pandemic. We always talked about market share, about customer behavior, and how we can expand our business, but that has very much shifted over the last 2 years, what I've been observing. And it's all about now how can we provide a significant contribution to our ecosystem here in Singapore and abroad, especially for the food and beverage industry, for our rider community, and how can we partner with the ecosystem of great startups, great talent here in Singapore and the educational sector to make a major contribution during this season. And a lot of friends would always walk up to me and say, hey, isn't this your time now? Isn't this an easy feat now for Foodpanda? I'd like to differentiate that a little bit. While yes, it's true, the pandemic has influenced the behavior of our customers, just by increasing the demand, it doesn't equate to business success, right? It's about how you respond to that increase of the demand. And that has us disrupted as a delivery logistics tech company. So we had to partner with governments, with the educational sector, with the healthcare sector across several markets on how we can contribute to our industries here. And in Singapore specifically, I remember very well when DOSCON Status Orange was called out, I walked up to our CEO and I said, so what's our contingency plan? Mm-hmm. And well, we were a young company then, like 6, 7 years old. There was no COE, there was no task force policy. So in good old Foodpanda fashion, we had to huddle, we had to scrum and come up with our own business contingency plan. And after 72 hours, we had our plan that we kept iterating. And we went out to the market, we helped hawkers and corner shop houses to come on our platform. We educated them around the digitalization journey. We also helped our rider community, bringing them to our platform, building their skill sets as they come to join the gig economy or transition into their career, building financial literacy skills, services skills, and so forth. And you can imagine that has raised the expectation to our employees. It's a tremendous responsibility and pressure that was on the shoulder of our teams, and some of them are here today, and I'm super thankful for the amazing work that they have been delivering every single day. And concretely, there's 3 simple things that we did. Number 1 is fostering a culture of psychological safety, because we are exposed to a lot of dynamics still, and we need to feel people comfortable about the way they operate. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we may fail, but we will learn from it. And it's important that we all can voice out our concerns and our opinions and how we best operate in that sense. The second thing that we did a lot of education around well-being. And it's not just about the physical well-being aspect, but also mental well-being, financial well-being as well. And we wanted to go up the stream, not just giving benefits when a mental health issue occurs, covering you with insurance benefits, but also looking at preventative measures. And with that in mind, we partnered with a technology startup here in Singapore to really make mental well-being scalable and accessible and in a personalized way.
Thank you. Then maybe I will ask you again, considering what you've just said, how do you personally, as a leader, show your employees that well-being really matters? How do you show them? And the people working here who are with you here today?
This is personally super important to me, not just as a department leader, but also driving the right culture at Foodpanda and everybody who has leadership responsibility and people under his or her care. I think number one is really psychological safety, like I mentioned before. We are exposed to a lot of uncertainty still. We drive a lot of innovation as a tech company, and you experiment a lot. We move in a very agile fashion, and that requires the right trust, the right autonomy that we want to give to our people to do this in a scalable way. Apart from culture, I think it's also important, and something that I try to practice more and more better, is personalization. So what we've noticed during the pandemic is that there's no one-size-fits-all policy that can address the needs of our employees. Some love working from home, some hate it, right? So where is the good middle ground? And I found the answer in personalization, really getting to know to your team members, to your people, listening to their needs. You may have people who have children in their care, they need to homeschool, so we enabled them to micro-learnings for parenting remotely, or they may have special needs family members, or some may just about to enter into, adding a new family member, right? Moving into paternity, maternity, or transitioning out of maternity and paternity. And it's about that added flexibility that you can help individuals to cope with both work and life balance a little bit better. And last but not least, I think what is super important is about our responsibility as a corporate to enable that. It's not just about putting a policy out there on the portal. It's about you as a leader taking ownership to help individuals create boundaries. As a tech company, we have observed that work and life have ever so blended, and accelerated some more by the pandemic. So I feel very compelled that we need to do something about it. So when I communicate with my team, I would always, after work hours, I would put a small note there, please don't respond tonight, right? Or, when you're back at your desk, then you can respond to me, it's not urgent, right? Or agreeing with a colleague of mine, she's pregnant now, and I said, look, if you need to see a doctor, no questions asked. So trust is a lot better than tracking. And in Foodpanda, we don't track time. And likewise, if you need to see a doctor, there's no need for you to get an MC. We trust you. We measure you based on your outcomes and your contributions, and not the hours that you clock. So this trust-based model has, for us at Foodpanda and for our leaders, worked quite well.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that. Setting boundaries. Do not answer tonight, right? Okay, thank you. Over to you, Vivian. How about you? How do you, as a leader, show that, it's very important for you to take care of them?
Personally, for me, my logic is very simple. For which I echo Chewy's point about, for the company to be successful and thriving, the employees need to bring their whole selves to work. And in order to let them bring their whole selves to work, my philosophy is very simple. Health first, family first. Because if you don't resolve all these issues that are surrounding you, you can't bring your whole self to work. Now, being in the company for 20 over years, I've benefited a lot from a lot of my mentors, my managers, right? When I was a young mother, they allow me to, work at late in the night. Instead, I can go back earlier to help look after my kids, and I work late into the night, right? And I think these are the flexibility that the company can offer to the employees. And I also want to focus on the fact that these days when we're all working from home, it's very gray about when is home time, personal time, and when is working time. You could be sitting at the dining table working, eating your breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time, right? And I really want to call out, I always emphasize this to my team, right? When it's your leave, go on leave. Don't respond to email. Take your personal time off, go recharge. Personally, I go for a night cycle if I need to decompress from work. And it helps me a lot. And I really encourage employees to do that, because I think your personal well-being is your own destiny to control.
Very good. Thank you, Vivian. Look after yourself. That's what we say. As a leader, you also have to look after yourself. Thank you. So I only have very little time left. I've got 1 minute. So I'm going to ask Chewy for your view, just a very short one for us.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I think I learned and set a tone in 3 areas. Number 1 is care more and to be more empathetic by just adding 1 word to the daily conversation with my team. So instead of asking, how are you today? I ask, how are you feeling today? The conversation just shifts from very generic to now connection of emotions that I'm tired, I'm afraid. Second thing, I mentor more, expanding beyond the one-on-one to group mentoring across women from the different organizations. And thirdly is to lead by example, to own my personal well-being. I would say that, in the past when we think about resilience, it's about enduring, right? Tough it out. But I learned that actually resilience is literally built by, recharging, by pausing. So I do take deep breath. I do have quiet time during my lunch break, or if I really need to free up my mind, I walk the Micron's beautiful garden. And I'm very, very blessed. My son actually gave me a birthday message 6 years ago. And here he said, when you take time to do nothing, it always puts everything into perspective. So I just love it. And I think that setting the tone is about what I learned is that in learning, you will teach. And in teaching, you will learn. So,
very good.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I really love your son's message, right?
Thank you.
And so we're going to give the last word to DPM. So DPM, you wear many hats, right? You wear many hats, and you spoke about your stroke, and we were all praying for you to get well. We were so thankful and so happy that you are sitting where you are today, 5 years on, looking so healthy. And obviously, this comes back to you even needing to take care of yourself.
Right.
But you are a leader, and you have many people who work with you. How do you then set this tone for them as well? How do you then set this tone so that they also know that they have to take care of themselves? That well-being is also primary for you, for them, basically, like to you, for them.
Well, I think early on I mentioned about this sense of purpose and meaning, and I found that has been a very important energizer for many of our staff. But at the same time, I think, all of you mentioned about the great difficulty of that blurring of lines, particularly during COVID, where we are working from home, and really there's no line between home and office. So what I emphasize is that it's important for us to we all need breaks, and the more frequent it is, the better. We all must sleep well, and I have a secretary. In fact, I have 2 secretaries who are extremely hardworking, and during last year's budget, they were working really, really hard. Yeah, and I made it a point that this year, when things are a little better, we all have to work from home, I said, you all don't have to come into office. If need be, and especially when I'm working from home, all I need is someone just sending me the email. So just don't spend time, taking public transport. So there are practical little things that we can all do in all ways. And I try to, because I have a lot of meetings, and I try to keep my meetings as short as possible, because that helps. So I make it a point that, before meetings, all the papers are sent to me. I read it at my own pace, and the staff don't have to go through in great detail, and everybody crunch through all that you should be reading before you start the meeting. And then thereafter, our meetings can just decide on what we need to do and get going. So in that way, trying to cut out unproductive work, I think, is a very important aspect of what we have to do. Yeah. So that you don't put a strain on things and on people having to keep, because of whatever reason, protocol, habits, and so on, that we have bad practices like that.
Very good. So you are a role model.
I wouldn't say so. I mean,
so that
I'm trying.
Down the line, they will all learn from
I'm trying very hard, but I won't say I'm the role model. Far from it.
Okay. Well, so all of us have heard from the panelists, and we've picked up some tips from them as to how we look after our employees, make sure that they understand what it means to thrive, and to be successful in these very difficult years. And one thing that I picked is that, we really, as leaders, must look after ourselves. So I'm going to ask you to do this. Shall we all stand up, even my panelists? This is how we're going to end. We did say, join me, everybody stand up. A lot of times you forget to take care of yourself. One of the things that we need to do, you need to breathe. I think, shall we mention that? Can we just take a deep breath? Everybody take a deep breath. That's just to recharge yourself and to refresh yourself. And then a lot of times, leaders, you do so well in the workplace, you care so much for your employees, but you forget that you are doing a good job. So I want you to pat yourself on the back. Come on, everybody, pat yourself in the back. Yes, we forget, we really forget that we are doing a good job. We are a good role model to our people, and that's why you're thriving so well, and that's why you are great workplaces in this room. Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being a good audience.
And we should all give Joni a pat on her back.
Thank you so much, Joni. Thank you, DPM. Thank you, panelists. A round of applause for them, please. Please take a seat. I do have to say to you, you can breathe out now. I realize that Joni asked you to breathe in, but she forgot to ask you to breathe out. Earlier when we were looking at the social media takeover, one of the things that we were excited about is how good they were. And now we want to recognize the companies that we want to honor the best takeover bandits. We call them bandits. I thought the companies did a really, really good job. Would you give all the companies involved a big round of applause, please? There are 3 companies we want to honor tonight as the best takeover bandits. They're here tonight. So let's give them a big round of applause. Please wave your pom-poms, use your clappers. We're going to go first to Blue Prism. Where are you? Wave your pom-pom, Blue Prism. Awesome. And the second company is EPAM. And last but not least, Envision Digital. Congratulations, guys. If you wish to view the full takeover video, just visit the Great Place to Work's Instagram page. The handle is GPTWSG. GPTWSG. Now, for the real reason why a charity guy is hosting your dinner, Great Place to Work should also be a great place to give. In 2019, Great Place to Work supported the Purple Parade as the adopted charity and have done great work in raising funds and supporting them. If you do not know by now, many of you are part of a company of good. This week is Giving Week. As part of Giving Week, I'm proud to share that Great Place to Work is supporting the Majority Trust, an IPC philanthropy organization in Singapore that is focused on building thriving communities in Singapore. And that's the organization that I'm with. Since COVID hit Singapore in February until now, the Majority Trust have rallied over 200 donors, and we've raised over $12 million to support 230 charities and ground-up groups serving over 300,000 beneficiaries in this past 2 years. This December, as part of Giving Week, we've launched Shine a Light. As you go out later on, you will see on the promontory, the beams that's coming up, 60 lights in total. What we are doing is a month-long fundraising campaign for the causes that are close to our hearts and close to the hearts at Great Place to Work. Elderly dementia, youth mental health, migrant workers are all issues we care about because well-being is multifaceted. And many do not have the means to do so. Because my board secure and fund our operating costs, every dollar net of third-party costs, every dollar we raise goes towards supporting the charities we give grants to. The charities are the real heroes. They are the heroes on the ground that's doing the work. And my job at the Majority Trust is to work with donors like you to bring the funds together so that they have the resource to do the work they do. But enough from hearing from me. I would love for you to hear from them.
Every day in Singapore,
there are many people living among us who are struggling.
We are seeing an increase in mental health issues amongst young people.
Thousands of stay-alone seniors are struggling to make sense of this pandemic and need help with their daily activities.
Our migrant brothers, just like any of us, fight for their best life for themselves and their family. So why should we look at them any different?
There are many persons with dementia and their families learning how to cope with dementia on their own behind closed doors. But it doesn't have to be so.
When people ask me if Ray of Hope were to disappear today, what will happen to my existing beneficiaries and my future beneficiaries? And the answer really is nothing, because nobody else will help them. Typically, crowdfunding campaigns are bigger scale, and they don't talk about poverty, but we make sure that we help those who fall through the cracks. And 100% of the funds go to them, and every cent counts for our beneficiaries.
At Kampong Kakis, we help isolated seniors and vulnerable residents get matched to a volunteer in their neighborhood that can look out for them. Ultimately, what we're trying to do at Kampong Kakis is really building a more resilient community network.
One thing that we've learned is that dementia is not a simple problem, that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. We believe that every person with dementia and their family deserves to be included and deserves to be able to live meaningful lives.
From the first day that we decided to work on Sama-Sama, we wanted to redefine the way the public understood and saw migrant workers. There are so many deep-rooted issues that the migrant community themselves are facing. And right now it's the priority for social integration and trying to create more opportunities together with our partners for more locals and migrants to interact with each other.
The truth of the matter is that adolescence in and of itself is a very high pressure. The majority of what we are seeing is an increase in anxiety issues because there's a lot of pressure for limitless. We are more focused in dealing with the present. What is the youth struggling with right now? How can we help them? We don't make light of people who are struggling with things like cancer, right, or with heart disease. Right, so we shouldn't be making light of people who are struggling with mental illness as well, because one life lost is one too many.
Together, let's brighten up lives. We're proud to be working with Great Place to Work tonight to be able to ask you for your support. Inside your tote bag is a little card with a QR code. We ask that you take a look at it. Join us for the whole month of different learning journeys and different podcasts that we're launching, interviews with the grantee partners and the charities. We hope tonight you'll be able to join the Great Place to Work as a community to support the work that we do on the ground at the Majority Trust. So thank you very much. I want to thank Great Place to Work, and this is an opportune time for me to introduce our next speaker, the Global CEO of Great Place to Work, Mr. Michael Bush. Michael was really disappointed not being able to be here with us because of US travel restrictions, so that has curtailed his plans. However, thanks to basic technology, we get to hear from him. Here's Michael Bush.
Hello, my name is Michael C. Bush, and I'm the Global CEO from Great Place to Work. It's an honor to be with you today, to be with the leaders and some of the great people from the best workplaces in Singapore. Last year in 2020, during your virtual event, I said, I am sure in 2021, I will be with you in person for the best workplaces in Singapore event. Well, here we are. The world's a strange place. But I will say with confidence, as an eternal optimist, that in 2022, I will see you in person at the best workplaces in Singapore event. So congratulations for being with us today. I also would like to thank a for-all leader who has been with us throughout this journey, and that is Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Kit. He has been committed to showing what happens when you consistently lead on a daily basis towards the purpose of equality, respect, fairness, and honesty for all. He was with us in our event at the Raffles Hotel in 2019, again with us virtually in 2020, where he continued to communicate his vision on his hopes for workplaces and for society in general. Because if we treat people well at work and have a great experience and treat people with respect and honesty, they carry that into the community. It's not only good for the businesses, but it's great for Singapore, and that's great for the world. And he will be joining us as a part of the event here as a panelist, where he will continue to share his great vision. It's great to see leadership modeled, not leaders who are great for a moment or for a year, but are consistent in showing their dedication because they are so focused on people and the great society that is built around great people. So thank you again for your partnership, Deputy Prime Minister Kit. And for the rest of us, I'm looking forward to us spending some great time together. So I want to spend some time talking about something that we all care about. Our mission, the thing that we all have in common, is we want every place to be a great place to work for all. And we know what this means. It means that people have to have a great experience for the people that they work for, and they want to have a great experience with the people that they work alongside. And we believe that organizations and the definition has changed based on what we're all experiencing, meaning an organization now is wherever a person is sitting with a laptop or a smartphone. So every place has to be a great place to work for all. And the journey for greatness starts right here. We know by working together, by listening to our employees, we create an experience that is great for people, great for business, and that makes things better for the world. As you know, we get all of our data and all of our analytics by surveying employees. It's easy to think you know what people want and what people need, but it's much better when you can use social science, proven social science, to find out how to listen best to what people need so you can provide that to them. Well, the work that we do is we survey over 10,000 companies every year. We survey over 10 million employees every year in over 100 countries every year. This enables us to know what's going on for working people in every single industry on earth. And what we know is this pursuit of greatness leads to outstanding financial performance for businesses. So there's nothing wrong with being a business that focuses on making money, because you know that you can make progress too in terms of creating a better society. For us, this idea of great means that we have a way of making sure that trust and respect and fairness and credibility is experienced by every working person, regardless of how high you are in the company, if you're in the middle of the company, if you're a frontline supervisor, or if you just started yesterday on the front lines in the company. You should experience an environment that has trust, respect, fairness, and credibility. We also know that great means diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Everybody should feel that they're important and they're needed when they go to work. You shouldn't have some people feeling that they're needed and other people feeling like they just have a job. This is our continuous pursuit of making sure that we're pursuing and creating a great place to work for all. Great also means that you're purpose-driven. That yes, the money matters. Yes, profit matters. Yes, cash flow matters. But we come to work every day, hopefully inspired with other people who are actually trying to make society better and trying to make things better for other people in society, so that a rising tide lifts all boats and that no one is left out. And we spend so much time doing work. What a great place to practice these values and make sure that people have an uplifting experience when they're at work, so when they go home, they carry that same uplifting, respectful experience through to their home environment, because people who do that volunteer and give back and support their communities where they live. We also know that great means that people have empathy, which means they're willing to look at things from another point of view. When they're talking to people, they're asking a series of questions because they're humble and they're curious and they want to learn about them, which we can say is putting ourselves in another person's shoes. This is what enables us to see a situation differently and perhaps realize that some of our ideas on what an employee might need might not be correct. And being humble and curious enough helps us find out, based on another perspective, what someone needs. Again, the best way to find out what people who are working and have young children at home during these strange times need is to ask them and to try and think about what it would be like to be them and to be doing work while doing daycare and doing homework assignments all at the same time. And great means for all. It doesn't mean that it's great for some, but it's great for all. At Great Place to Work, we've measured productivity for about 20 years. And something fascinating happened. When you look at 2019, the period of March to August, what you see is productivity moving at its normal level for great companies, which is kind of in the upper 70s. Something strange happened in 2020. When you look at the time period between March and August, and you looked at great companies, productivity went up 6 to 8 points. It went into the upper 80s. In our 22 years of measuring productivity, we've never seen this before, which meant great companies actually got greater, which was amazing. We'd all like to believe that that would be true. Well, we have the data now to show that it was true. Now, something also happened as we moved into kind of the August, September, October timeframe, which is some companies started moving into decline. So people called that Zoom fatigue or WebEx fatigue or whatever you want to label it. They actually started to falter. Now, what our data showed us is that what happened is people started having an uneven experience as they faced the uncertainty related to going back to the office. And they didn't know if they were physically safe when they went back to the office. That led them to start to feel that they weren't really psychologically safe. And it made them question whether the people who were asking them to go back to the office were actually able to understand what it was like for them. And so fear crept into the workplace. And how do we know? Because we ask questions about employees' psychological, emotional safety and their physical safety as well. And when you look at the data, fear began to creep into some companies. Now, as we all know, nothing good happens when fear creeps into a company. Fear stops inclusion. Fear starts to separate people into groups where people come together based on having similar fears. We call them silos. Fear stops something that an organization needs really badly, which is inclusion and innovation. But this did occur. Now, remarkably, at some companies like yours, the decline didn't happen. Companies have remained at a high level of productivity and performance, even moving throughout 2021. And what we know is the reason that occurs for some companies and not others is leadership. Where you have good leaders who are able to not lead based on fear, but are able to talk about things that they don't fully understand and ask questions. They are humble. As leaders, they are always trying to get better, and they are thinking about things that they need to improve upon. And every leader has areas to improve upon, but some are humble enough to know that and then to try and make things better. And they listen, not only through in conversations when a person is talking, but they also use tools like surveying to try and get some analytics to know when you learn something that employees need and you try and do things differently, did it actually make a difference? This is leading based on analytics, which is what workplaces like yours actually do. And they become filled with a high performance, high productivity experience, and this comes from good leaders who are supporting their people more as servant leaders, knowing that if they make things better for their employees are going to take care of their customers. Now, there is another level of leader above that leader, which we call the for-all leader. And this leader has two things that they do exceptionally well. Number one, they operate at the highest level of trust. When you survey people who work for these leaders, it doesn't matter whether an employee's been there 6 days, 6 months, or 16 years. They all describe their experience with the leader the same way. They say that the leader cares about them as a person. They say that the leader asks some questions and gives them feedback about their development. They say that the leader might be running an IT department, but when they met you and learned you just joined the finance and accounting department, they still cared about you. And they talked to you about the organization in total. That these are leaders, these for-all leaders who are purpose-driven. They think about the entire organization, not just their department or their city or their country. They think about the entire company and therefore want to make sure everybody in the company is having a great experience because they feel like that's their responsibility. These are leaders that we call for-all leaders who over 90% of the people who work for them say that they would do anything for this leader because of the experience that the leader creates. This is what we all want to be. Because when you're this kind of a for-all leader, what you find out when you talk to these leaders is they say, my purpose is my people. That's my purpose. Because if I take care of my people and I care for my people, if I develop my people, I recognize my people, I reward my people, and I listen to them when they speak with an open mind so that problems I'm trying to solve, I actually think they might be able to help. I respect them by listening in such a deep way. And when I speak to them, I'm always trying to make sure that I connect for them their work, regardless of what they do, and the purpose of the organization, and that the organization cannot succeed without them. This is the kind of feeling that For All leaders create. And this is the kind of feeling that our survey data shows when a leader leads that way, people say, I want to work here a long time because this is a great place to work. Now, when an employee says, I want to work here a long time, when they're willing to commit their future to the organization, they don't have the same kinds of problems that other companies have during this thing called the Great Resignation or the Great Reshuffle. Because people, the one silver lining of COVID is some organizations have realized they haven't focused on their employees to the degree that they needed to. Now, those like you, like your companies, you've always known this and you're feeling the rewards as a result of it. And we thank you and we congratulate you and we honor you for doing that. And what we hope is that more companies will find out what you have done. You can still be a little bit ahead and will pursue the same thing. Because we know that if all working companies, of all working people are in companies that are on our path to become great, this is going to be great for Singapore. This is going to be great for the world. And the world needs us working together and treating each other in a caring way more now than ever. So this is the great opportunity for us, or the great transformation. One of the silver linings or positive things we can take from this tough COVID experience is how we relate to each other. I believe that businesses right now that are quite satisfied with 5% growth in revenue, 7% growth in revenue, are going to find they can achieve much more by paying more attention to their employees and making sure that they have what they need. So, finally, congratulations on what you've done. You've been doing what I am describing every day during the toughest of times. We still have some tough days ahead, but things are going to get better. I think we all know that, and we all feel this way. And the way to make sure they feel better is by listening to each other, supporting each other, guiding each other, giving feedback even when it's not easy to do. Because when you give feedback in a caring way and you let a person know that if they do something a little bit different, it's going to help the organization achieve its purpose, it's a gift. And people will hear it as a gift. It's an ultimate show of respect, giving somebody feedback in a caring way. So, enjoy the celebration. You have earned it. Continue to take care of your people. Thanks for being part of our movement, and I can't wait to see you next year. Take care to all of you from Oakland, California.
Now that's a nice photo. That's an awesome photo. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the main event. Are you ready? You can't say, yes, thank you. We were debating to do this, but I think we should. There's a group of people here that I would personally, and I'd like all of us to thank, which is the Safe Distancing Ambassadors who are here helping us. So, the reason why I want to thank our Safe Distancing Ambassadors is because they are trying to keep us safe. And sometimes, we feel that, there's so many rigidity and so on. And sometimes I think we don't appreciate them enough. So to all the Safe Distancing Ambassador, can we just say a big thank you? Maybe we can give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much for helping us. Really, really appreciate it. And with that, I will also want to remind you, because this is the awards portion of it, I know you will cheer. So if you can, please remember to use just the clappers, use your pom-pom, clap as loud as you want, but no cheering, okay? So let's test that. Use your clappers and just give everyone a big round of applause. That will work really, really well. With that, may I please invite our guest of honor, DPM Heng, together with Joni on stage as we begin the awards presentation. You can use that. The Small Workplaces List seeks to honor organizations with fewer than 100 employees and have been in operations for at least 2 years. Every one of these organizations are all exemplary in the building and sustaining inspiring and high-performing workplace cultures. Places where employees trust the people they work for, have pride in what they do, and enjoy the people they work with. For this prestigious award, we want to honor 15 organizations. At number 15, Endow Us. Established in 2017 in Singapore with a mission of leveraging technology to make the best investment advice and opportunities accessible to everyone, Endow Us emphasizes the principles of integrity, humility, and respect. Employees thrive on its culture of participation and ownership, where they encourage to question and challenge status quo. And together, they brainstorm to generate new ideas and progress toward a common goal. No wonder 96% of employees say that people here are willing to give extra to get the job done. Ladies and gentlemen, Endow Us. At number 14, CrowdStrike Singapore. CrowdStrike is a global cybersecurity firm with one goal: to stop breaches and protect organizations. Its culture is built on the principles of autonomy, flexibility, and trust to foster a diverse and inclusive work environment that enables employees to push the boundaries of what's possible. Authentic care, encouragement to innovate, and a culture of recognition have enabled its employees to thrive and resulted in 97% saying that it is a great place to work. Congratulations, CrowdStrike Singapore. At number 13, Teleperformance. Unfortunately, Teleperformance cannot be with us here tonight due to company restrictions. At number 12, Rise Communications. Amidst an industry norm of being always on and juggling client demands against employee resourcing, Rise Communications aim to be the best communications consultancy in both Singapore and Asia to work for. It prioritizes employees ahead of the business and conducts regular surveys to keep a pulse on employee happiness and well-being. Its efforts to put employees first have certainly led to a positive business outcomes, as 100% of employees say that they look at what they accomplish and feel a sense of pride. Number 11, Servier Singapore. Servier is an international pharmaceutical company made up of a group of individuals who put patients and innovations at the heart of what they do. Indeed, CEO Florent de Kettengai says their greatest pride is seeing everyone give life to its values in their daily work. It cultivates an environment where employees can collaborate and play as a team, and recognizes that well-being and fulfillment at work are essential. That it has accomplished this evident with 97% of its employees saying that it's a great place to work. Congratulations, Xavier. Congratulations. At number 10, Open Space. Open Space is a multi-stage venture capital firm finding and backing Southeast Asian companies and creating a transformative impact where tech meets life. It takes open in its name seriously. This philosophy underpins its cultural experience, and it encourages employees to seek and give feedback with an open mind and an open heart and a constructive approach. The success of its philosophy is clear, with 100% of its employees saying they will strongly endorse their company to friends and family as a great place to work. Ladies and gentlemen, at number 10, Open Space. Another round clapping for open space, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. At number 9, we have Liftoff Mobile. They are unfortunately not being here tonight as well due to company restrictions, but they are also number 5 on the technology list. Same at number 8, we have BitTitan SG Private Limited. They are also not here with us tonight due to company restrictions, but they are also number 4 on the technology list. All right, get your clappers ready. We are now at number 7. The Collective Good. The Collective Good aspires to build the next generation of purpose-led food business and consumer brands. Its employees know they are part of a company that believes in something greater than itself and work together to change the world. As a social enterprise, it wants employees to find meaning and fulfillment in their jobs by supporting Yellow Ribbon Project and collaborating with partners such as Open Door Policy and the Singapore Heart Foundation. No wonder 96% say they feel good about the ways it contributes to the community. Congratulations, the Collective Good. At number 6, who is also number 3 on the technology list, is Insight Technology Solutions Private Limited. Where are you, Insight? Insight Singapore makes a concerted effort to harness the unique strengths of its diverse employees and build inclusion. Its APAC goal is to achieve a workplace where all people thrive and an individual difference is harnessed and celebrated. It launched an Everyday Respect campaign, provided training for all its leaders, and developed a series of videos where teammates share their personal stories. Its efforts have clearly paid off, with 92% of employees saying that Insight Singapore is a great place to work. A round of claps for Insight Singapore. Congratulations, Insight Singapore. At number 5, who is also number 2 on the technology list, we have Worldwide Technology, WWT. Worldwide Technology makes a conscious effort to build an ecosystem that enables trust with its customers, partners, and employees. Managers are asked to facilitate trust exercises with their teams, and it even has an online platform for employees to give anonymous feedback directly to the executive team. For its efforts in creating an open and high-trust culture based on transparency and core values, WWT certainly deserves to be among the Singapore Best Workplaces list in 2021.
Hi, it's Jim Kavanaugh, CEO and co-founder of Worldwide Technology. Can't tell you how excited I am to be here today and to recognize and to thank all of our great employees in Singapore for being recognized as a great place to work by the Great Places to Work Institute. I can't tell you how thankful and grateful I am for all you do supporting our customers, our partners, and our communities in Singapore and around the world. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, WWT. At number 4, we have 6. 6 implements a variety of employee programs targeted at reinforcing its culture, values, and strategies. It introduced The Story That Makes Us, an initiative that encourages employees to share their approach to achieving strategic objectives within their job context, whether as a tax accountant, a salesperson, or an IT engineer. By encouraging vulnerability, These stories aim to open conversations around being brave, heading into a new challenge, and reflective, coming out of it. A success in creating a safe and open culture has led 100% of its employees to say that it is a psychologically and emotionally healthy place to work. A round of applause for 6. Nice. Awesome. Congratulations, 6. Another round of applause for them. Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to our top 3. I hope you're ready for this. At number 3 and number 1 on the technology list, we have Cadence. Cadence believe that its people are its greatest asset. And by respecting one another and working together, they are unstoppable. It's one cadence, one team culture. It's evident with 91% of employees saying that people care about each other. To enable its people to feel empowered and supported to make their mark on the future of technology, it designed unique and special benefits to help employees and their family members at different stages of life. They have certainly made their mark on us, and we're proud to have Cadence on this year's list of Singapore's best workplaces. A round of applause for Cadence. Congratulations, Cadence. One cadence, one team. Well done. At number 2, we have TC Acoustic. 100% of employees say that TC Acoustic is a great place to work. This major audio distributor puts people front and center of everything it does. It believes that it's not just about fitting people in their roles, but also about enabling them to flourish in their strengths and passions. It gives employees flexibility to take time off during office hours and an additional 7 days of annual leave to empower its team to support the causes they believe in. For its people-first philosophy and enabling employees to thrive, Great Place to Work is proud to rank TC Acoustic among the 2021 Singapore Best Workplaces. Congratulations, TC Acoustics. Oh, DPM, they would like to take a quick selfie. You guys not only look good, you sound good too. Congratulations, TC Acoustics. And now, at number 1. Are you ready? At number 1, we have Signify Singapore. Signify is the world leader in lighting for professionals and consumers and lighting for the Internet of Things. Its 5 strategies drive its entire business and is based on its foundation of providing a great place to work. The 5th frontier. Its egalitarian beliefs are underpinned by a strong culture of respect, and it prides itself on providing employees with autonomy to drive their own task. Signify knows that skills development to do the job well is one thing, but being told that it's a job well done is another. Hence, it takes a proactive approach to recognizing and making the point to recognize its employees regularly. Congratulations, Signify. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give all our winners a big round of applause. Congratulations. Wow. Let's take a breath. Remember to breathe out. We now turn our attention to the best workplaces for medium and large organization winners. This category recognizes organizations with more than 100 employees. Are you ready? In Hokkien, they say I very chuan already. At number 15, TDCX Singapore Private Limited. The vision of this boutique outsourced business service provider is a customer service solutions, experience solutions to foster a culture of care and well-being that empowers our people to succeed and excel in beyond the workplace. For always putting its people first, Great Place to Work is happy to introduce TDCX on the 2021 Singapore Best Workplace list. Congratulations, TDCX. Give them a round of applause again. At number 14, Microsoft Singapore. Having a diverse and inclusive workplace is key to Microsoft's culture, as it believes it will better serve everyone on the planet by representing everyone on the planet. Its hybrid workplace is built on a commitment to flexibility that welcomes and enables varied work styles, considers business and individual needs, and is built on trust and technology. Congratulations, Microsoft Singapore. Congratulations, Microsoft Singapore. Well done. At number 13 is AbbVie Singapore. Unfortunately, they're not here with us tonight due to company restrictions, but we want to send our congratulations to AbbVie Singapore. At number 12. Number 12 is HP Inc. For more than 80 years, HP's vision has been to create technology that makes life better for everyone, everywhere. Employees can reinvent what matters most in their career, across the company, and for people everywhere. This is echoed by other employees, with 92% of them saying that this is a great place to work. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for HP Inc.
HP is honored to be recognized as one of Singapore's best workplaces. At HP, our people are at the heart of everything we do, and we want every employee to be able to build meaningful careers with us. We're committed to fostering a diverse and inclusive culture in an environment where everyone can innovate, belong, and grow. I'm proud to be working alongside my HP family as we continue to deliver amazing experiences for our customers, people, and community. Thank you.
Congratulations again, HP Inc. At number 11. At number 11, we have Foodpanda. Innovation is core to Foodpanda's DNA and is encouraged at every level of the organization. It values and encourages pandas, employees to launch moonshots and get 1% better every day. 90% of pandas say that people here are given a lot of responsibility, and 88% feel a sense of pride when they look at what they have accomplished. Ladies and gentlemen, at number 11, Foodpanda. Am I right to say they're all pandas on stage? Use your clappers and cheer for them. Congratulations, Foodpanda. Awesome and well done. Just a gentle reminder, everyone, we are now to the top 10. Use your clappers. Give big rounds of applause. Use your pom-pom, but please do not cheer. At number 10, we have Ingram Micro Asia Private Limited. The right people at the right place at the right time and the right way. This is what Ingram Micro prides itself on. In line with its One Ingram Micro mindset, to ensure alignment throughout the company, it develops customized programs for each level of its managers, from team leads to executives. In the words of an employee, it takes conscious effort by everyone in the organization to build and maintain a workplace where every employee feels like a star. This Great Place to Work certification validates my awesome work experience and great culture here, standing tall and proud for its achievements. Congratulations, Ingram Micro. At number 9, who is also number 5 on the technology list. We have ThoughtWorks. As a global technology consultancy that integrates strategy, design, and engineering to drive digital innovation, ThoughtWorks' motto is that everyone is free to make their mark. It operates with a flat hierarchy and an environment where thought workers are free to have their voices heard, free to choose their career paths, free to drive and experiment with new initiatives, and above all, free to be themselves. As a testament of the success of its motto, 98% of employees say they are treated as a full member regardless of their position. Congratulations, ThoughtWorks! And congratulations on being number 5 on the technology list. Congratulations, here we go, here we go. We are at number 8. At number 8, we have Medtronic. Medtronic is a global healthcare solutions company that strongly believes in creating and reinforcing an open and transparent culture. Every single employee has a voice and is encouraged to use it. 91% of employees will say that this is a great place to work. All right. At number 7. Number 7 goes to Boston Scientific. Boston Scientific transforms lives through innovative medical solutions that improve the health of patients. Globally, it takes a strong stance against inequity, systematic racism, and social injustices. In Singapore, its senior leadership publicly shared their stand against xenophobia and anti-Asian hate to their professional and social media networks. An open letter was sent to all employees on how they can do their part and to speak up if they experience or witness such behaviors. It also implements inclusive practices and ensures equitable hiring, pay, and promotions. Unsurprisingly, this has resulted in 96% of its employees saying that its management is honest and ethical in its business practices. Congratulations, Boston Scientific. I think they want to take a selfie, sir. They sound very prepared. If you look at the angle of the shot, they are quite scientific about the selfie. Ladies and gentlemen, Boston Scientific. At number 6. At number 6, we have Micron Technology. Enabling all team members to bring their authentic selves to work and contribute to its success in Micron Technology's priority. This view is echoed by others in the company, where 88% of its employees say that it is a great place to work.
Today, you'll see the new heartbeat of Micron.
Use your clappers, ladies and gentlemen. Micron Technology, number 6 on our list. Congratulations, Micron. At number 5. We're getting there. At number 5, at congratulations, Micron Technology. All right. At number 5. And number 4 on the technology list is Red Hat. Unfortunately, Red Hat cannot be with us here tonight due to company restrictions, but we congratulate them and send them our well wishes. At number 4 and number 3 on the technology list, we have Adobe Singapore. Adobe Singapore celebrates the diversity and vibrancy of the Southeast Asian cultures and embodies the Kampong spirit in all that it does. A core aspect of this is ensuring an equitable and caring work environment for all its employees. Having achieved gender pay parity, it recently introduced the goal of achieving opportunity parity, which examines fairness in promotions and horizontal movement across demographic groups. The success of its Kampong spirit has resulted in 97% of its employees saying that this is a great place to work. Congratulations, Adobe Singapore. Number 4 and number 3 on the technology list. Congratulations. Here we go. I was about to say that with Adobe is one of those photos that they can Photoshop more people in later on. All right. Are you ready now? At number 3 and number 2 on technology list, we have Salesforce. Salesforce is the world's #1 customer relationship management platform. Its employees are united by their desire to make a positive impact on the world, to do well and do good. In 2021, it launched a Go Give One campaign with the aim of closing the global vaccine equity gap. Commitment to employees is a core part of its culture and drives all business operations and daily interactions. As one employee shares, "I am beyond blessed to be in such an environment where everyone has shown empathy and care to each other." This is evidenced by 91% of employees saying that this is a great place to work. Ladies and gentlemen, Salesforce. Congratulations. All right. I can hear the at number 2 and number 1 on the technology list. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Cisco. Congratulations. Cisco helps its employees thrive by creating a fair, Congratulations, Cisco. It helps employees thrive by creating a fair and inspiring environment and caring for its employees' holistic well-being. In 2021, it embarked on a 5-month well-being journey, which included a variety of virtual activities and mindfulness sessions with personalized one-on-one consultation. With 96% of employees saying that it is a great place to work, Cisco clearly walked the talk in its claim that people are the heart of everything it does. Congratulations, Cisco. Okay, one selfie. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Cisco at number 2. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of our event. Thank you very much. No, we still have number 1. At number 1, ladies and gentlemen, on the Singapore's Best Workplace list, we have DHL Express. DHL is the leading global brand in logistics industry, and not just in Singapore. It is ranked as one of the great workplaces in many locations around the world, and recently ranked number 1 in Great Place to Work's world's best workplaces list. And with 98% of employees saying that this is a great place to work, it has certainly accomplished this with aplomb.
Company always listen to our feedback and put a lot of effort in continuous improvement.
The management really take care of our well-being, and also they are ready to listen to us.
In DHL, I work with all motivated people.
Use your clappers, ladies and gentlemen, use your clappers. Our winner for 2021 Singapore's Best Workplace list, DHL Express. One selfie. Very nice. Congratulations, everyone. Wow. Can I just say that you're not very quiet? But it has been a tremendous, tremendous ceremony. How about this? Please take your clappers and give yourselves and every of the winners here and everyone here a big round of applause. And would you please join me to give the biggest round of applause to our guest of honor, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you, sir. Sir, thank you very much. DPM will be taking his leave. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us as our guest of honor. One more round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our guest of honor, Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat. It is incredible that we are doing this in person. It truly is. I thought it would be great for us to thank everyone who have organized this. If you can, use your clappers and thank the Great Place to Work team for putting this together, for the Marina Bay Sands team. To all the winners in your different categories, congratulations. Normally at an award ceremony, we will have alcohol and wine to cheers and just celebrate. I have a better way for all of us to celebrate tonight. Use your phones, better yet, use your boss's phone and scan the QR code to donate to the Majority Trust. How about that? It has been a lovely evening. It's been a lovely time being your host today. Thank you for bearing with us with all the safe distancing measures. And I hope you had a great time. I have just one more announcement. Just one more. We have to dismiss you zone by zone. So in accordance to the donations that was given, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What we will do is to dismiss you zone by zone. We will be starting with zone 3. Zone 2 and Zone 1, if I can get you to just wait for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again and have a great evening, and I'll be here still to go through the logistics. Thank you very much and have a really, really good evening, everyone.